Avatar: The Battle for Pandora is cinema. I am the luckiest man in the world. I woke up at 9 a.m., didn't drive to work, drove to a weird comic book store that also had a bunch of pinball, and I got there before anyone else did, so I got to play the machine all by myself for like 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes, that could be a lot of games if you're a little scrubby pinball beginner like myself. So that means I got to listen to the soundtrack, I got to hear all the callouts. It was as if I owned the game for complete immersion without interruption. Someone transported my soul, and instead of putting it in some sort of Navi avatar, I became a pinball machine instead, which gave me the idea of, if I die, you need to put my ashes or some part of my body inside of a pinball machine and don't tell anyone about it. I often compare pinball machines to board games because even though the mechanics are usually the same, the rules are always different and the play fields are always different, and I treat them as boards themselves. While I still believe that applies to any pinball machine, I believe I would compare Avatar: The Battle for Pandora to a laser light show. In my very short time of being a pinball fanatic, I have never experienced anything quite like this. From what I understand, pinball lights were originally designed to distract you, to make sure you see all these lights and not to see the ball so it would drain. Through time, lighting has become a way of guiding you. When you see a part of the field light up, you instinctively want to hit the ball to make it go over there, and I think that is great for learning the rules of the game. Jersey Jack has taken it a step further from this. It feels like the pinball machine is Awa herself, and if you can find it within yourself to just listen, you can get a lot further in the game. This game could be totally played in the dark, and not only would you never get lost, but it would actually become a more beautiful game because of the bioluminescence. The more you accomplish, the more you're able to do, the more beautiful the game gets. There are some pinball machines I play where I feel like it's actively fighting against you. Like, you have to fight the pinball machine and make sure it doesn't drain while the pinball is trying to drain as soon as possible. In this game, I feel like they're trying to keep the ball active as long as possible. The ball isn't going at a lightning speed pace, and I feel like there aren't a lot of bumpers that create a lot of chaos. I feel like the shots that you make, even if you get rejected, you can save the ball back, and there's even a kickback. It gives you a lot of chances. I would actually recommend this to a lot of new pinball players. This is the first pinball machine I would ever describe as whimsical. Jersey Jack went insano mode to make me feel like I'm going on an adventure. I've never played a pinball machine before and felt like it was a safe place to cry. The score is unlike anything I've ever heard in pinball. One day, I would like to make music for a pinball machine. And even if I never get to score a pinball machine, it's nice to know that there will be great music in pinball after all. This is very much a soundtrack that I would love to have access to so I can listen to it outside of playing the game itself. I think other than the lighting, that this is maybe one of the biggest contributors to the vibe of the game, and I think it does such a good job of making you feel like you're in another world, underwater, and exploring the most beautiful place that you've ever been to in your life. I don't believe that this game is about making the craziest shots possible. I believe it's just about being around, living with the game itself. I don't think it's a sweat machine. I think it's a vibe machine, and I really like that about it.